All right, why you're holding yourself back even when you say you want more. I'm curious to hear about how many people this resonates with. And this is a topic that kind of pops up really sneakily quite often when I'm working with clients. So I'm so excited to dive into it today and talk about the truth that might be fueling some of the resistance that you're feeling to doing the things that you say you want to be doing in your life and helping you learn how to move through that with more self awareness when you see yourself through these lenses that I'm about to offer for you. So, if you are new around here, my name's Chelsea, certified coach and former psychotherapist, talking all things mental wellness, emotional health, making it feel more realistic, tangible, sustainable, and approachable so that we can all start feeling better and living better. If you are new around here, make sure that you hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel so that you can be notified every time that I share something new. And let us dive in. So, have you ever had this experience where you keep saying you want more? You want more in a relationship or a partner. You want more for yourself in terms of your career. You want more quality of life. You want to feel better, and you know there are things that you could be doing to support that. But when the moments come to do those things, you don't often choose that, right? And this is where we get to kind of that hiccup where information and knowledge is helpful, but without integration and action, it doesn't actually make all that much of a difference. And I have found in working with clients and in my own life that there are a few things that tend to creep up behind this that really stop us from doing the things that we want, whatever we deem more is for ourselves. The first of which tends to be imposter syndrome. That feeling of, who am I? Who am I to create a life I actually want to be living? Who am I to say no to this event that everybody else is making themselves available to go to? Who am I to prioritize my well being or take time for myself in a world that demands so much of everybody? Who am I to boldly apply for a job that I've been eyeing, but tell myself I'm not actually the most qualified for? So that's a big one, right? Imposter syndrome. Then we have a feeling of guilt and wondering, what are other people going to think of me if and when I go after this thing? If I'm in a really healthy, thriving partnership, what will my mom, who has struggled with relationships her whole entire life, think of me? How will that impact our relationship? Right? Or if I celebrate getting to go on this really incredible trip, how is that going to feel for some of my friends who don't have that level of flexibility in their lives right now? I don't want to rub it in. I don't want to make them feel bad. Right? And then we start to doubt ourselves and we question and we squash our desires. We tell ourselves that we are somehow wrong for wanting more for ourselves and our lives, whether this is something that's seemingly small or it's in a big area of life, right? So just drop a yes in the comments below if this resonates with you at all, if you've had thoughts like this before. Because again, the more and more that I have conversation with clients and we're peeling back the layers, these tend to be some of the fears and uncertainties and things that are unfamiliar that then tend to feel like a threat. They tend to be the thing holding us back from making the changes that we want to make because it's unfamiliar. It's uncertain. It is uncharted territory. Whether it's navigating our days differently, demanding different requirements of ourselves and responsibility and how we show up, engaging with the boundaries that we hold for ourselves and our people differently, right? Those questions of who am I? What's going to happen if I do this? How's it going to impact some of the relationships that matter the most to me? Who will I become? Can I even envision that version of me that maybe is a bit more self-trusting and is willing to practice better communication skills and ask for what I'm needing? Like, on the one hand, I really want that, and on the other hand, that's terrifying. I don't know that version of me yet, right? And as we talk about quite often here, our brains and our minds are primed for safety and familiarity above all else. And so, how understandable that even while on the one hand, you might want more for yourself, for your life, for your well being, for your relationships, for your career, for your finances, for your spirituality, for your well being and quality of life. There's also a part of you that's like, wait a minute, no, we don't know what's going to happen here. We don't know how this is going to go. We're not sure how it's going to pan out. So it's probably best if you don't do that, because people are going to judge you. You are going to be outed by some of your people. So, like, let's just not. Sound familiar? Well, if it does, you're in the right place. And I want to offer you a really, really important reframe around this idea of wanting more and really just allowing ourselves to show up for the desires that we hold in our heart, in our soul, in our being, in our body. And that is recognizing that you owning your wholeness, your truth, the different layers, desires, and intricacies of what will support you in thriving, in growing, in evolving, gets to be inspiration for those around you. Let that sink in for a minute. This is something that in psychology we often call modeling behavior, right? And we can apply modeling here because oftentimes, if we don't see anyone doing the things that we want to do, it feels even more challenging and sometimes impossible to envision that we could do it too. But by you choosing to follow your version of more, whatever that looks like, your version of growth, of change, of evolving, what that can do is show other people what is possible. And so when that fear-based, safety-oriented mindset comes in that tells you that's wrong or bad, or that is going to make you an outcast from the people of your life, how can you support yourself in coming back to this reminder that you get to step into this thing that you're desiring, and you are absolutely innately worthy of it just because you exist as a human being, right? Like, can we just palate that? I am worthy just because I'm here and I exist. And when I show up for more, and when I choose differently, and when I live differently, I show myself and the people around me what's possible. And that way, when they're ready to do the same, they know that they're not going to be alone in that. And that's going to look different for each and every one of us, right? Like, this idea of more is going to look different for every one of us. What you might be desiring in your life might be super different than what your best friend or a parent or your aunt really wants for you, or what I would really choose, right? That's beautiful. That's amazing. That's what helps our world feel more empowered. We don't all do things in the same way, or want the same things, or need to walk the same path. It's just not realistic. It doesn't happen. So with that too is also the offering that there is a difference between someone who shows up for more and is able to own their whole truth and holds themselves in walking towards that, in desiring that, and someone who is arrogant or not thoughtful of others or is pushing themselves or their desires or their successes on other people, there is space between. There is space between denying yourself, keeping yourself small, not letting yourself do or feel the things that you're actually wanting and or needing for yourself, and someone who is overly arrogant, cocky, in your face, not at all considerate of other people. So I want to encourage you and invite you to think about, what does the in between look like for you? What could be possible if you allowed yourself to desire more, to make the changes, to learn, to grow, to change in your life, to heal, to explore, to invite in, to set boundaries, to hold yourself in high responsibility and walk as a model for other people around you, to empower them to do the same for themselves? How different of a world would we live in then? So I wanted to make this quick offering for you because I think it's really important that we're not just bypassing these layers underneath that are oftentimes contributing to the resistance that we experience around what we want for ourselves or the healing, change, or growth that we might want to be doing. And we look at them and we start to understand ourselves better. And that way we can kind of befriend ourselves and hold our hands and say, okay, I know this is really hard and scary, because if I have more in a partnership and I have a healthy relationship, the truth is that I can't know how my mom might react seeing that happen for me. And I also can trust that she can work herself and walk herself through that, knowing that I can show her that it's possible in some ways, right? How much does that change the conversation around you showing up more fully for yourself and in your life? You can still be an empathetic person. You can still be a giving person. You can still be kind and allow yourself to grow, to change, to step up, and to step in for what is meant for you without having to squash anybody else around you, and recognizing that you, just as anybody else, are worth every fiber that wants to be expressed through you. All right. So hopefully this resonates. Hopefully this provides you with a quick reframe if you notice that any of these factors show up for you when you think about desiring more for yourself in all of these different facets of life. And if this is really resonating with you and you're wanting more of this, wanting to understand yourself better, wanting to see what layers might be showing up for you and keeping you kind of in this stuckness or in this smallness or feeling stagnant around your healing or your sense of well-being or how you'd like to be shifting, changing, growing in your life, I want to invite you to book a call with me below. So that way we can connect. I would love to hear more about you and what's coming up for you and what you're really desiring around your mental and emotional well-being in these different facets of life. And then we get to take it from there. So go ahead and click the link below. And if you liked this video and you want to have more conversations like this and you're starting to explore yourself from different perspectives, again, just make sure that you're subscribed to my channel here. Make sure that you like this video so that you can get notified every time we share a new tidbit or snippet with you. And I will chat with you all soon. Bye, loves.